Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik from Figure It Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here. So this is going to be a little weird video that may or may not work. We'll see. I'm currently at a convention in Wolverhampton, England, in the United Kingdom. And I thought it would be kind of fun because they have a whole big setup here. Well, we're still in the process of setting up. They have a whole bunch of obscure consoles that I thought would be really fun as a teaser for maybe future Rare Variants episodes. Since I don't possess these, I thought it would be kind of cool to go around while it's still kind of quiet and talk a little bit about each one, and then hopefully one day we can actually do these. So if you like this idea, if you guys could do me a favor, please like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you've never done that before, as well as check out all my social media stuff, description, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, Spreadshirt, Travel Channel, you know how this goes. Alright, let's go ahead and start talking about stuff. First up, and I'm not even totally sure it counts, we have the Commodore CD-TV. I admit I am not much of an expert on this thing. I'm not even totally sure it necessarily quantifies or qualifies as a game console so much as it does a PC. Obviously the British did a lot more gaming PCs. I honestly don't know a whole lot about this particular system, and if I was going to ever do a Rare Variant, it would require a lot more research, no doubt, but it is very cool to see it in person nonetheless. It has these like caddy loading systems for the games. Obviously Commodore made it, as well as eventually the Amiga C32, and it clearly has a controller layout and no doubt this kind of interface for that. I think it's more of a PC type of thing, but very cool nonetheless. This, as I'm sure a lot of you will actually recognize, is the Nintendo iQue. Now, this one in particular is unique. So basically what this was, and it says it there in these labels, this was an officially licensed N64 clone released in mainland China. At one time, these were actually kind of easy to get, and I wish I had done that, because that was stupid that I didn't. But usually you only see this one, just like by itself. He's got two versions of it, and he's got a super rare like connector that allows you to play multiplayer. So this is quite the setup here. This is technically, if you're a Nintendo hardcore enthusiast, this is on that list because this was not a clone. Nintendo made this. This was real, and I missed out. This is a very bizarre one, similarly to the iQue, but made by Sega. So this was actually created for mainland China as well, and as you can see Sega's name on it. Fundamentally, this is a VCD player with a Mega Drive or Genesis built into it. And the disc format, it actually used discs. It didn't play Sega CD though. What it instead did is it basically used Genesis ROMs more or less on a slightly unique version of a VCD disc, and it would play off of that. Now eventually the license lapsed on that, and they just kept making it, but they stopped putting Sega's name on it, and that's what you have here as the Shinko version. But both versions right there, very cool. And of course these absolute junk PS1 clone style controllers with 6-button configuration, obviously to match Genesis. This I actually have, so this is going to have its own video at some point. So this is just an example of some of the stuff they've got. I'm not going to be bothering talking about, but one day I promise we'll get a video on the Master System Super Compact. So here we have a unique one. This is the Zeebo. I don't know a whole lot about this one. It is my first time ever seeing one in person. What I can tell you, basically what it more or less says over here more eloquently, is this was a system that came out in Brazil and Mexico only. It doesn't seem to use physical media to my knowledge, unless it's hiding something somewhere. But it basically used like 3G internet for downloading software titles and stuff like that. Not a big success. It uses USB ports for controllers. I don't know if these are specifically designed for it or if they're just compatible with it, but yeah, behold the Zeebo. This one's kind of an asterisk because I actually do own a Dreamcast. I've just never done like a specific Rare Variants episode on it. However, my Dreamcast is the white one. This is the black one. This is not fair. This is one of my holy grails. This is the Phantom. This one deserves its own video. I just don't have one, so I can't do it. But it might look kind of familiar. It looks like an Atari 7800. It has what looks like Sega Genesis controllers, and it looks like it plays NES carts. Yeah, there's a reason for that. This is the NES, or one of the many models that was received in Brazil. But what's unique about this one is Nintendo, I'm not going to go into the whole story here, but Nintendo actually did make an effort to get into Brazil. And I'm not going to explain the whole thing, but basically this was the result. They more or less outsourced it, and a company ended up recycling the Atari shells to play the officially licensed NES games using basically lifted Sega Genesis controllers. So it's a very weird fusion of all these systems. Yeah, and Nintendo dropped any sort of support for this, but this was technically sort of approved by Nintendo briefly, which is why I want it, because that's bizarre. This is the Nintendo Super Famicom box. This was basically like a hotel system, from my understanding. I mean, it says a little bit more about it there, but basically, you know, it'd have multiple games in it, and then you could pay to play, essentially as rental services. This, like I said, was very common in hotels. If you're a child of the 90s, you might remember ever going into a hotel and you could like rent games on the television. Usually they were feeding in through something like this. Kind of kills me, the Laser Active and the Panasonic Q, because I have both of them, so we're not going to be talking about them. Oh, psych out. This one is odd because I actually have two Nuons. This is the Samsung, well, specifically the Samsung model, but of the VM Labs Nuon. I've done multiple videos on the Nuon, but not this particular model because I don't have it. But yeah, I guess I would just show it because why not? It's right there. This one just mocks me. This is the Fujitsu FM Towns Marty. This might possibly be my #1 system on my list that I still need. What's most interesting about this thing is that it is actually the first entry into the 5th generation, the same generation as the PS1, Sega Saturn, and 64. This one beat everybody to market as the first system. It only came out in Japan, I believe, in 1993, and it is not a common machine. I've been to Japan 20 times, 20. I am yet to ever find one for sale. I believe I own a single controller and like one game for it because I just found them somewhere. One day I want one of these. I've got a couple of friends that have one of these. Shout out to Sunshine in particular, who bought one not wanting it, which pisses me off. But these things are known for not working very well. So yeah, if this one works, bonus points. So this is a cool one. I would definitely like to have this, but this is not something I can practically own. This is the Bravia Sony PlayStation 2 television. It has a specific model number, the KDL22PX300. This is actually a television with a built-in PlayStation 2. Now this concept, like people know the Sharp NES and the Divers 2000 Dreamcast. Like this isn't an unheard of concept. What's kind of bizarre about this one though is that it only came out in Europe. So the PS2 hardware is there. It's just built straight into the TV. That's really cool. I'd love to have one, but it would be like the most useless version of the PlayStation 2 for me because, you know, it only plays the PS2 European games. This one really kills me. This is the Amstrad Mega PC. So what this is Amstrad, which is a big company, especially in the UK, back in the day for PC games, made a lot of PC hardware. This one was an integration deal with Sega and the Mega Drive. It actually has a Sega Mega Drive cartridge slot built into it, so it's a computer as well as a Sega Mega Drive. The same concept would exist in Japan, known as the Terra Drive, made by Sega themselves. This concept, though, never brought into North America. We never had one of these. So there's technically two different versions of a home computer with a built-in Sega Genesis or Mega Drive cartridge slot. Very cool. And sadly, I don't own it. So this is really cool. This is the PAL version of the TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine. This is actually very, very uncommon to find the all-gray version just called the TurboGrafx. So yeah, I thought I would just show you guys that. Also, here's a bonus. This is the PC Engine LT. This very nice gentleman has let me take one out of the box because he has one in the box for sale. And look at this thing. This is a version of the PC Engine with its own built-in screen, released in Japan only. Very expensive, very rare machine. I've only seen, I think, 2 of these ever. One for sale in Japan behind glass, and then one down at the National Video Game Museum in Texas. And wow, that is something. Beyond my price range, unfortunately, but wow, that's really cool. Here's a cool one. I don't talk about handhelds much. This is a Gizmondo. This is a sealed one. I wish it cost 40 pounds still because I would totally buy this. But the Gizmondo was a very brief, very short-lived handheld that failed spectacularly. I've never seen one with the box, much less sealed before. I think that's more likely what it costs now, but very, very cool to see that in person. I would show you the actual system, but again, it is sealed up, but I thought you guys would appreciate that. The rare oddities continue. This is the Casio PV1000. This console only came out in Japan and was actually recalled, making it extremely, extremely rare. I've seen one, I think, once ever. I think it was in a museum. And this one actually has the box. This is for sale. It's beyond my price range, but very cool nonetheless. This is the system that the only other system Casio made before they made the Loopy. So this was a nice little bonus to see. Wow. Oh yeah, there's also this thing, the Sega Pluto. Nobody cares about that. We've seen that a million times. I think we'll cap it off with this because this is a bunch of rare hardware all at once. I did an entire video on this. This is the PS1 test kit. However, we have more. We have the other version of the PS1 test kit, which is blue. Sony would basically allow, companies to, or debug stations probably more accurately, they would let people, developers work on these. They're basically region-free versions of the system that also play burn discs, so that people could test up on that. But we also have, this is a Nintendo Wii development kit. There's two different versions here. I think they can run in tandem, but I admit I'm not totally sure. This one's a Philips CDI one. And they have these caddies. I actually did a video on a totally different CDI development kit years ago, you guys can check out. But that is the same, they would always have that. This is a PlayStation 2 test kit, which I'm pretty sure is, again, like a region-free version of the system, 100%, because I haven't used this. And then this is actually very neat. This is a PSP UMD test station, so yeah, that's definitely a pretty cool holy grail there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little weird video of showing you just quick glances at a bunch of super, super rare consoles, because why not? So as always, if you guys could do me a favor, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe if you've never done that before, and check out my social media stuff in the description: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, Spreadshirt, travel channel, etc. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.